High limit heads for the Tulare Thunderbowl, and two favorites are going to be in attendance tonight. We'll also talk updated plans for several late model drivers, including Ricky Thornton Jr. and Cade Dillard. We'll also share Dillard's very pointed comments towards World of Outlaws officials over certain decisions. Let's go. It's Wednesday, March 19th. I'm Justin Fiedler. This is DIRTRACKR Daily presented by Kubota Genuine Parts. If you're playing those pick'em pools during the 2025 dirt racing season, or you're going to participate in Dirt Draft, maybe you're going to throw some cash down, bet on USAC or High Limit or the Outlaws, or maybe you're just a stat nerd like me and you just like numbers, check out the analytics section over at DIRTRACKR.com. We track both World of Outlaws Series sprint cars and late models, the Lucas late models, High Limit, all three USAC national divisions, the Chili Bowl, the Eldora late model special events, the Extreme Outlaw midgets, and more. The database, now north of 2,200 races worth of results and stats and analysis. In there, you can find a ton of information for free. You don't need an account. You don't need to sign up for anything. You can just click around. You can see full race results. There's driver pages and there's stat breakdowns. But if you want access to even more, grab a subscription to DIRTRACKR Plus, $4.99 a month or $49.99 a year. The year subscription basically gets you 2 months for free, and you can cancel easily anytime. Just go on your account page, hit the cancel button, and you're done. Signing up gets you access to the Plus dashboard, which has added stat tools and visualizations. Unlock more than 25 extra features, including exclusive insights not found anywhere else. Whether you're a race fan, maybe you're a member of the media, or you work for a series or a racetrack, DIRTRACKR Plus is the perfect resource. You can see everything Plus has to offer and sign up for a subscription over at DIRTRACKR.com/GetPlus. After a few days off, the Kubota High Limit Sprint Cars are back racing tonight. They'll be at the Tulare Thunderbowl in California for round number 2 of the 2025 season. Looks like they're expecting right in the neighborhood of 40 410 sprint cars tonight, which includes all of the regular High Limit full-timers, plus a bunch of California guys. The Jason Myers' own team is expected to again bring a second car for Corey Day. He ended up winning the opener at Las Vegas last Saturday night after Darren Pittman ran out of fuel late. Remember, Spencer Basin driving the full-time 14 for Myers, and then Day is going to come out when he is available on his schedule. Kyle Larson listed in the Paul Silva-owned 57 as well. And then some other travelers inbound include Ryan Timms, Austin McCarl, and Robbie Price, among others. A big question for today will be what happens with the RSR 87 and driver Aaron Reutzel. Remember, he is dealing with that broken nose. Sort of seems like the team expects Aaron to race. They posted a race day social media graphic earlier on with Reutzel's name on it. And there haven't been any other rumblings since Sunday or Monday about possible fill-in drivers. We certainly haven't heard anything official or publicly from the team. So if he does indeed race, we'll see what he can get done with a broken nose and the discomfort that that's going to cause. Obviously, the Tulare Thunderbowl and some of the California racetracks, not the smoothest of surfaces, so probably not a great point on the calendar to have an injury like this, but we'll see what he can do. Kyle Larson was the winner of the only previous Tulare trip for High Limit back in August last year. He topped Rico Abreu and Brad Sweet, with Sweet leading the first 26 laps in that one. Young Money, the betting favorite for tonight at plus 231. Day, Sweet, Rico are next on the odds list. Larson also an Outlaw winner at Tulare in 2022, and Reutzel a winner there in 2018. One note here, Cole Macedo was the only localish driver to finish in the top 10 at the Tulare race last year. Remember, he was driving for the Tarleton car. Macedo now a full-time World of Outlaws driver. DJ Neto was next best in 11th. With so many California guys racing with High Limit as full-timers, the locals clearly don't have an advantage here over these guys. There is not much to talk about with the High Limit Championship yet, seeing as how there's only really one race complete. That's kind of same with true of the franchise hunt. I think we're going to need at least a few races to see where things start to shake out. And Corey Day, Kyle Larson, they're actually top of the standings, but we know they're not full-time. So, Brad Sweet kind of the de facto points leader right now. But I think drivers like Chase Randall, Dazen Pursley, Spencer Baston, Casey Kane, Cy Lynch, Brendan Crouch, those guys will be looking for bounce-back races after all finished outside the top 15 at Las Vegas. After tonight, teams will have Thursday off before action moves to Kern County on Friday. And I guess, should we be calling it Bakersfield at Kern County? I can't remember exactly what the name is there, but anyway. As we wait for the Dirt Late Model weekend to get here, I do have updates on a few drivers and their national tour statuses. Yesterday, we talked on the show about Max Blair deciding on the World of Outlaws, so he's going full-time that way. But I did want to point out that the Outlaws did lose a few drivers around the Smoky Mountain weekend. That included Dustin Walker. He was a no-show. I looked around to see if there was any sort of post about why, but couldn't really find anything. Walker spent the last 2 seasons really struggling on the road against these guys, and I'm surprised, honestly, that he made it as long as he did. In 89 career Outlaw starts, his best finish was a 14th last June at Thunderhill, but a lot of kind of back half of the field, B-mains, things like that for Walker over the last couple of seasons. 2 other drivers, Tyler Bruening and Cade Dillard, made the decision to not race at Smoky Mountain based on the threat of severe weather, and they gave up their series status as a result. I'm not sure where this leaves Bruening, but Dillard has decided to go pick and choose for the remainder of the year, and he will contest some of the big-paying modified races as well. He joined Barry Braun's All Gas, No Brakes podcast yesterday, and he didn't really mince words about how he felt about the decision-making from the World of Outlaws officials over the Smoky Mountain weekend, and some previous choices on some trips where you kind of ended up only racing maybe on a Friday or on a Saturday versus having a 2-race weekend. He told Braun, quote, "They don't really somewhat take into consideration the drivers or the crews and just a little more worried about the ticket money, and it just makes it a little less interesting for me to support them," unquote. You can find that full episode over on the XR YouTube channel. I certainly don't blame Dillard for erring on the side of caution. He's got to do what he's got to do, what's best for his family and for his race team and for his guys. But I do think it's important to point out just how difficult things become for everyone involved with these weather situations. And I've said this before, but the Smoky Mountain forecast for Friday, it was fine. But if the Outlaws sack the whole weekend, they're going to then take a beating from the fans for doing that. It's going to come back to they could have raced, what's wrong, the sun's out, all of those things. These big events are also important for a lot of these racetracks, bringing in that added revenue. We know for a lot of tracks, the big events, they make that money on those big weekends, and then that money ends up getting used for the weekly races and some of the other things that don't make money. So no matter what decision the series make in these situations, somebody is going to be upset. And I don't know what the right answer is, but I understand both sides of this one. Dillard and Brent Larson, also a full-time Outlaw driver, did make it a point to spotlight Why Not Motorsports Park on their social media accounts for postponing their entire weekend that happened last Friday, Saturday. So clearly Dillard, not the only one who felt this way. Moving on to some other drivers, a bunch of you pointed out yesterday that Ricky Thornton Jr. does appear to be set for the full Lucas run. The schedule on his website was updated to show he's going to Atomic and Brownstown this weekend. The title defense for him and the 20RT team would seem as though it's now on. It's interesting to note, though, that the only other races on that schedule are the Nippy 50 at Maquoketa and the Silver Crown race at Terre Haute in April, so maybe he could still go pick and choose, I guess. But with RTJ and Max Blair decided, that leaves Dalton Wilson, Carson Ferguson, Tim McCready, Drake Troutman, and Kyle Bronson all still on the fence. Last check, none of their schedules had been updated with weekend plans. My guess is Wilson stays Lucas. I think McCready probably goes Outlaws. But I also think Ferguson, Troutman, Bronson, they are all probably coin flips at this point. I don't know that I would be surprised if they went either way. At the moment, the Outlaw website still shows 26 full-time drivers. Dillard, Daniel Hilzebeck, Walker, and Bruening have all been bumped off of that page. All right, that's the show for today. If you want to get a full rundown on your viewing options on the streaming services each day, make sure to stop by DIRTRACKR.com/watch tonight. We keep that updated with everything happening on Dirt Vision and Flow Racing and Speed Sport and Racing Dirt and Clay Per View and on and on and on. The schedule includes what's racing, where to watch, start times where available, and links. And no, I'm not going to add pavement races to that schedule. This is called Dirt Tracker for a reason. Anyway, hope you guys have a great Wednesday out there. We'll see you back here tomorrow.